Thank you for coming on. So, Paul, tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got here, basically.
I'm from the Combat Sports Centre. I've been running a full-time martial arts centre since early 2000. Been coaching martial arts since 1998. So I've been around for a long time. We've got one of the biggest setups in the UK now, but it started off in very modest and humble surroundings. I was in inner city Birmingham, then worked my way up to Acox Green and in Alton. And every time the club kind of got to capacity, rather than resting on my laurels, I kind of reinvested those memberships back into giving the members a better facility. So I think we're on our 7th or 8th facility now, and it's one of the biggest in the UK.
Oh yeah, I remember when we started with you like 15 years ago, when you was opposite the McDonald's in Alton. It was just like, I mean, that would seem nice enough then. See, unless you've got the vision, you don't really know what the next one's going to be and how it's going to get better. And then we joined like later when we're 18, 19, 20, being adults, it's just like, bloody hell, like it's elevated. I mean, it's doubled in size since we've been at this one.
That's right, yeah.
It's nice that you want the best place to go.
Yeah.
If you invested in someone, it's good to see the...
That's it. I mean, every time we've moved to a new site, I've vowed absolutely never again. We're never moving again, sort of thing. And then another opportunity arises and I'll roll that dice again and we'll get bigger and bigger.
With where you are, you could do the monopoly, you could end up having the whole stretch.
Well, yeah, there is just a little bit of space to grow. I'm not sure I want it though.
But yeah, I'm sure you said that when you moved in here, and then the whole next door happened. So
yeah,
so that's exciting.
I'm easily persuaded by the members.
So what started your love for combat sports? Where did that come from?
I fell into it when I was kind of like late primary school, start of secondary school. And a couple of my mates trained at the local club, and I was really impressed about like how physically strong they were. And that, you know, they had a little party piece where it'd be like, "Oh, punch me as hard as you can in the stomach," sort of thing. I was like, "That's ace! I want to be able to do that without crying." And so we, you know, our parents took us to the local club. My mum and dad weren't that keen on me starting boxing at such a young age, although there was a local boxing club. They didn't really know what kickboxing was, so they kind of took us along to that, not realising that in itself is a, you know, ring-based full contact combat sport as well. Yeah, they just took us to that and allowed me to compete in kickboxing. They were horrified when they actually saw what that involved when I started competing. But yeah, it was just something I just really loved the challenge. I played a lot of sport, played a lot of team sports. Never really did anything like on a one-to-one combative nature. So that was something I wanted to try. We were really lucky. We went to our local leisure centre and Dev Barrett, who was world middleweight champion at the time, was teaching a karate class there. And he basically, over in Borsal Common, I've got a kickboxing club. Right. That'd be more suited to you. Do you want to come and do that? So we were very lucky to be trained by, you know, one of the best to ever do it right from the start.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good way to get into it.
Yeah, definitely.
So do you think that's what inspired you to be like, yeah, I want to show other people and help other people develop, having that influence so early on?
Well, I think I can resonate in terms of how it benefited me growing up. I haven't got a real bad sob story. It's not like kickboxing dragged me off the streets and whatnot. It was something that really helped me overcome fear, helped me, showed me triumph over adversity and resilience as well. So I remember growing up, if I ever had like an interview for a job or anything like that, I never thought, well, it never really fazed me, it never really scared me. I never found it daunting because it's not as scary as going into a ring and getting someone trying to punch and kick you in the head really hard.
No, it does teach you a lot about life, doesn't it? Just getting in there and just having done it, it's just like, okay, you really need to get... There's nothing quite like someone, even in sparring that we do here, like there's nothing quite like someone coming at you. You have to be 100% in it.
Yes.
Even if you had the worst day at work or anything's going, you kind of have to be in this moment now because it's the only thing that's mattered to you.
Absolutely.
For me, if I can't go to the gym and I'm just like, it's boring. I could just get distracted.
Well, because you've experienced that, you know, the challenge, you know, someone's trying to punch me in the head really hard. Yeah. How do I deal with that? Then, you know, going and lifting a few weights, I'd imagine it'd be comparatively boring.
It does, especially if you already got a little bit of time. Just like, yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the ethos of so many people down here. We pride ourselves on having something for everyone. So obviously, 90% of my focus is my competition team. So we've got Gilmore's fight team in the kickboxing, and then West Warwick's Amateur Boxing Club, which I've been the head coach of since it very first started. So absolutely, if anyone of a certain age wants to get into boxing, that's the route we take.
Yeah.
There are people out there who aren't going to be able to commit to a whole season of training, because to be good at amateur boxing, when I say good, to be good enough to have one bout, it requires so much commitment. Yeah. And people aren't just prepared to do that. So, you know, the next level to that is the strictly business promotions, where, you know, somebody who might be a little bit too old to suddenly start amateur boxing, or somebody who might just not be athletic or capable enough to get to that level, there should be an opportunity for them to experience that incomparable buzz of stepping the ropes, getting yourself the best shape of your life, and just getting super fit. And
you do get that full experience. Because I've done one on your show, and it's brilliant, because you do get that full experience of being like, all your thoughts from that 8-week camp, or whatever you decide to do. It's like, I'm just a boxer in my head now.
Yeah.
Like, you hear as much as you can be. Like, everything you eat, it's like, we're not going to do that, or I'll get punched in the head. Like, you lock into that mentality. It's a world title fight for you.
Absolutely, like, it is.
And that's the way it should be. It's like, I've got that experience, done it in full. Whereas you can't really get that with a lot.
Absolutely. And I think what differs for what we offer is, we're not giving anyone some false illusion. We're not telling someone they're really good and then sticking them with someone who actually is good, because it's on us, and you know, we've got to look at them after they've been mismatched, and we'd never do that. And so obviously all our focus is on the experience of the person doing it right from the start. So they'll get trained every bit as well as my amateur boxers get trained, and the pros. They'll get the whole experience. We'll pre-camp medicals, they'll get checked out, make sure it's for them, make sure they're safe, make sure they're well looked after. But then on the day, because it could be the only time they ever do it, I want them to enjoy their time under the lights. Yeah, I want them to feel it's a proper occasion. You know, they're in a big venue. You know some of the venues we previously used. We've done it at Villa Park, we've done it at Edgbaston Cricket Ground. So we want a decent facility. And then we want to make sure there's a high production value as well. So when they come out, all the, you know, the lights are flashing, the dry ice, the indoor fireworks, the girls leading you down. It's a once in a lifetime experience, if that's the only time they ever do it.
You feel like a hero when you're coming up. I think it was Mario that went to me, just like, as you go, like, take it in, like, actually take a second, stand there while your song's playing and your fire's going up, and you just like, you know, you do feel like a bit of a G. You're like, I'll go down. Otherwise, you could just bomb down and not think about it. But he said, take a breath and you actually enjoy it. And you're like, this is cool.
And you've got to enjoy that moment as well, because you'll have worked so hard for that. Because if anyone doesn't work hard for it or isn't competent enough, then they don't compete. It's as simple as that. I've never really been one of these, turn up for 10 weeks and spar once and then get trained by a personal trainer and then get in the ring and have a swing. I wouldn't agree with that. No. You know, there's a certain level of competency expected. So you have to train hard. So when you are in the ring, and you are doing that, you should be proud of it. And all the plaudits you get and everyone cheering you, then you deserve it. Both people in the ring deserve it.
You don't, I think you don't mind what happens, as long as you know you've done everything you could have done to the night. It's like, well, what happens. It's like you've done all the work. And then that's all you need to be proud of.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what's next for Strictly Business?
So Strictly Business 24, would you believe? So that's the 24th one we've done on this particular brand. Is going to be far and away the biggest and best one we've ever done. We're taking it to the next level again. We've got a 2,000-3,000 capacity arena in Solihull, so less than a mile from where we are now. Many of us grew up in that area as well, so it's a facility that will really get people going. You know, we'll have the big commitment to our production and everything. We'll make sure the whole process is every bit as good as it ever has been. But then when they're actually competing at this venue, it really will be, you know, a once in a lifetime experience.
I mean, that's a huge step up, isn't it, from the like 500-600 seaters to. That's a lot of people watching you fight. That's pretty big.
Just like this place, it's another gamble, isn't it? Let's see what happens. I think because we've built up such a good reputation for quality over the last 15 odd years promoting the shows, people have done them and go, they know they're good, so they can believe in its quality.
Yeah, it's one of those shows where you can we've been just known a couple of the lads fighting from the gym, but not being particularly like, oh, I need to watch them fight. But it's like, you're going to have a good night.
Yes.
So it's like, there's the benefit of going just like, the fight's going to be good.
Yeah.
Going to have a drink, and we're just going to enjoy watching some boxing.
That's
Guaranteed the good night, as well as, even if you're not locked on one person, it's going to be good. But then
that's what we're going for with this one. I don't want people to just turn up, watch their mates, and then go somewhere else. I want them to enjoy the whole evening.
Yeah.
I want people, like general fans, people who are just members of this gym or people in the local area, to just go there on that Saturday night, 14th of September, and have an enjoyable night. And I think they will. So we've got the usual strictly business card with people who have only had, maybe it could be their first time, they may have only had a couple of bouts, and they're going in there for the experience. Mm-hmm. But then what we decided to do to punctuate the event is, at the end, we've got some world title kickboxing fights on there. We've got some European world, maybe a few British title fights as well. That card isn't confirmed, but that'll be something else that'll put more eyes in front of the sport of kickboxing.
Yeah.
So they'll be there. Oh, I've never seen a kickboxing fight before. Well, I've watched this boxing show, and then at the end there'll be some good high-level kickboxing for them to watch as well.
Yeah, it's nice to get a bit of both, and it elevates both. Though you're going to have a bigger audience to kickboxing. You're going to have boxing fans that are learn a bit more. It's a nice way just to introduce both people to both things.
Absolutely, and I think that's something else that I'm really proud of in the Combat Sports Centre. It is still one gym, so although there's three main disciplines, the MMA team, the boxing team, the kickboxing team, we all help each other.
Yeah.
So that, the kickboxers will come out and help the boxers with some sparring. The MMA fighters will come out and help the kickboxers with sparring. So, if there's a lad fighting MMA, the kickboxers and the boxers will go and support them. Mm. This Sunday we've got our amateur boxing show at Sheldon Heath Social Club. And I know loads of people have come down and support the West Warwick squad on their show as well. So it's kind of like, so then if they get to see a show that's got some kickboxing and boxing on there, I think it'll make it more appealing.
100%. I do always like that about this place. It's like, no matter who you've got around you, they might be doing something completely different. If someone says, oh, you're going to do a couple of rounds and just stretch off, everyone's keen just to help each other out. It's not really any egos. It's just that everyone just wants to help each other and just see each other succeed in their own way.
Well, I think you nailed it by saying exactly that. My mantra has always been, wherever I've been, check your ego at the door. Mm. No room for any egos at this place.
No.
That's why we do have that harmony. As soon as someone does have too much of a big ego, they won't fit in with everyone else down here. And I think that gives it that, although it is a big, impressive looking facility, it's still got that kind of community.
Yeah, it's not a scary place to come into.
I hope not.
No. And you can imagine some gyms be like, oh gosh, like this could be, if you do an away day sparring, this is a bit of a, this is not going to have fun here. But I think even, like, if an away fighter comes, they'll have a tough spar, but it's all nice and friendly. Like,
yes.
You never feel like there's a hostile atmosphere.
No, there doesn't need to be.
No.
There really doesn't need to be. It doesn't have to be that kind of traditional moody, everyone's snarling at you sort of atmosphere. That's no good. That's not this place.
But you could be, you look around some of the lads that's playing up, bloody hell, these are good. And you'll have a few rounds with them, and they're just, I was like, I know you could beat me up, but you're getting the best out of me by letting me have a good trade with you.
Yeah.
People like Dan.
Yeah.
So he's not going to come in and batter me because he knows he can. Like,
absolutely.
It doesn't benefit anyone. But
it might sound like a cliche, but Guillaume always used to say, one of the nicest men you'll ever meet. Mm. It's easy to be nice when you know how nasty you can be.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, loads of people have been like through the doors here at Combat Sports. Is there any like particular success stories where you're like, it's been really proud of seeing them go?
Well, we're blessed. If you look at the coaching staff at this team, the vast majority of them have been with me since they were 6-7 years old, and now they're kind of anything from kind of early 20s to early 30s, would you believe? That's how long it's been going. And so many of them have been successful in their own discipline. And it's really nice that they can kind of give a bit back now as well. Mm-hmm. So the obvious one, as we all know, is Callum Hawthorne. He's one of the most talented fighters I've ever trained still to this date. It might not be number one on his list of priorities to compete and take on the world. That's absolutely fine. But in terms of his natural abilities, Callum's one of the most talented I've ever worked with. And then you've got Kieran Piggott, who's just turning pro in K1. He's making his debut shortly after our show. And I mean, he's someone that any good thing that happens to him in the sport of kickboxing, he fully deserves. Because he's that one where when he was like 11 or 12, it didn't come natural to him. He had to work harder. So in terms of giving the right impression to our young people coming through, Kieran's the man. Because they look up to him now. They look, he's ripped, he looks the part. You know, he's going out there, cleaning people out, fighting really well at a really high standard on shows. And actually, I remember when he was kind of like 10 or 11 years old, and he didn't come naturally. He found it challenging and had to work harder than everyone else.
Yeah.
So in terms of like giving the right impression, that Kieran's the one. And then probably half a generation back beyond that would be kind of Danny Coveney, who's coming through. So he's winning everything, and he's kind of, what I love about Danny from a personal point of view is Danny's kind of like a similar physique to I was when I was his age. So I can really relate to Danny and kind of show him things that work well for me. I mean, he's a million times better than I ever was already, but it's nice that I can kind of relate to Danny in a way like, this worked for me, I reckon this will work for you, sort of thing. And you know, he's won everything there is to win now, hasn't he?
I mean, Danny's always my example to people when I'm saying, like, if they haven't done anything before, and people will get ideas above their station if they've never practiced before, and I'll say, I met him when he was 15, 16, and he would beat anyone I know up in his school uniform.
Yeah.
And he's not that he'd want to, but he could. And I'm just like, in his school uniform, he'd beat you up. And I'm like, how old are you? Just like, you just got to treat people with respect.
I know.
You don't know what they've got in the locker.
Having the gym enforcer taking his school tie off before he batters you.
And he could. And it does give you that sense of like, well, all right. It's good sometimes, just like, okay, I know nothing really.
Yeah.
Everything goes out, that's fine. Like, as long as you go in the right direction.
Yeah, and he does it all so well-mannered and placid as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, just with a smile. And you really like undiscerning, but you know he's just there.
A humbling experience.
Oh yeah. So that is always my go-to example. I want to like just be nice to people when you're out, especially when you're out and about. Don't think you're anything special.
Absolutely, yeah.
There'll be teenagers come and beat you up. So if you're a new start to combat sports, what's the best bit of advice you could give them?
Well, I think the biggest barrier people face is taking that first step through the front door. And we're about making sure people understand that it isn't a very daunting place. It isn't an intimidating place. And it's something that's suitable for everyone. So if you understand the health benefits or the life skills you develop through doing combat sports, the biggest step to take is get through that front door. And I'd like to think that the first impression they get once they are through that front door is it's a nice place to train. They're good coaches, it's good quality coaching, it's a great facility, and they'll benefit from being here.
So who have we got to look out for on Strictly Business?
So for anyone who trains at the Combat Sports Centre or has ever had anything to do with it, there's a lot of familiar faces going to be there. So there's a lot of the coaches who work down here are going to be involved competing on the show as well, which is all very exciting. So we've got Umar, who made his K1 debut not long ago on a show. He's 2-0, he's going again. We've got Jake Tremaine, who everyone knows from the MMA. He's having his first boxing match on the show. We've got Nia, who all the children are familiar with from doing the kids' classes. She's fighting K1. And then we've got Paul Lewis, all being well, fighting for a world title. And we've got Macy taking the next step up, Macy Wintle. Hopefully we'll get her a European title on the show as well. So there's lots and lots of familiar faces from down here.
It's like the All-Star cast, isn't it?
It's the All-Star cast, yeah.
That's bad. It's like, see, if you've come here, you know that's like a serious group of people to be watching.
Yeah, definitely.
It's nice to watch everyone like practice what they preach.
Absolutely.
You never see it. Like as soon as they'll show you what to do, and you're like, oh yeah, but I want to see you like. I want to see you go for it. So I think that'll be the one to go for.
And we've had so many times where, you know, someone's wanted to watch him, but it's miles away and it's on the same night as something else and you've got to travel around. This one, we've got 5 or 6 of them who work and coach down here. They're all on the same card, so it's one not to miss.
Yeah, the atmosphere is going to be nuts, isn't it?
It will, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. Brilliant.